they don't go back again. You have to sit there and say, "Oh, Miss Susie, eat some more." They take 1 spoon. They sit. They say, "Miss Susie, eat again." Or you scoop it for them, and it depends on the condition they have. They might just only remember to eat when you remind them to take another scoop. So that's what I mean by they might need physical or verbal cues to be able to be eating. Always put food into the stronger side of the mouth. If they are paralyzed on one side and you know that the left side, they're like that, try to put the food on the strong side. That's what they mean. Read the menu to those that are blind, cannot see. Just tell them what's being served. Allow time. Use the face of an imaginary clock to explain the position of food. We've explained that before. Who remembers what that means? Use the face of an imaginary clock to explain the position of the food.
Yeah.
Who can tell me what that means?
And this, you tell the resident where the water is. If you can see the water is at 3 o'clock. The fruits and vegetables at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Then
Okay. They're blind, but they know what a clock looks like. They know that 12 is up here, 6 is down here, 3 is here, 9 is here. So you can say your bread is at 9 o'clock, so they know to look for it here. Your coffee is at 3 o'clock, so they know the coffee is right here. Tips for dealing with specific special needs. Resident, again, we talk about those with, they had stroke or so. You cannot feed them too quickly. Just give them 1 spoon, wait for them to finish chewing and swallowing before you feed them again. Alternate with water. Some people will hold food in their mouth and not swallow. They pocket the food. Just keep an eye on that and so on. Some of them will be falling asleep while you're feeding them. Then you should stop feeding them so they don't choke. So all of that, we've talked about those. Resident has change in vision that causes problems seeing clearly. If they cannot see the food, you're going to be explaining what is being served if they don't see it or they don't understand. Some of them you'll be feeding and saliva will be coming down. Just have extra protector to wipe them. Just prevent them from choking. Again, like I said earlier, the residents forget to eat. They take 1 spoon, they forget that they're eating. So you have to remind them, eat your food, eat your food, eat your food. Then they will keep eating. But if you don't sit there and be reminding them, they won't eat. Some of them tend to lean on one side. Again, we talk about positioning them and making sure their head is up to 70 to 90 degrees so that they can eat well, and so on. How would it feel to have one of the problems that we described? I mean, nobody wants to have such problem, but in life, you never know what would happen in the future. We just have to be careful and take care of the resident well. Dysphagia means difficulty swallowing. So that means you need to feed them slowly. They might avoid eating. They might be spitting out the food because they don't want to choke. Again, give them small portions, slow down, and so they don't choke. Aspiration is when food goes into the lungs. Again, the reason why we sit them up to 90 degrees is to prevent that. The reason why we use the thickened liquid is to prevent aspiration. Again, you're going to feed them slowly, avoid distraction, use small pieces, give them small pieces, small portions, and so on. Just be extra careful when somebody, they're going to be coughing. Any tiny thing that they swallow, they start coughing. It means that it went into the lungs and they're trying to cough it out. So be careful, feed them very slowly.
So what do you do during that time? Should you offer water or?
Yeah, offer water. Make sure it's the proper water. If they are on that thickened liquid thickness, make sure it's the proper thickness. Feed them slowly and wait for them to swallow completely before you feed them again. Intake is fluid somebody consumes, then output is the urine that comes out. But output could also, but the main output is the urine that we measure. But they could vomit and vomit a large quantity of fluid. That we cannot measure. You can only say resident vomited one time or twice. Fluid balance just means the amounts that they took in, is balanced with the amounts coming out. Graduate is a measuring cup. The cup we use to measure the urine output during the exam. You have to know this conversion formula. Okay. You need to know that 30 ml, 1 ounces equals 30 ml. Okay. I mean, that means you know that 2 ounces will equal 60, but then know that 8 ounces, these are the ones you need to know very well, equals 240 ml. Because 8 ounces is the same as 1 cup. Okay? So, for example, they could give you in the GNA exam that the resident had 1 cup of water. Know that 1 cup is the equivalent of 8 ounces. Okay? It's right there, 1 cup equals 8 ounces, which equals 240. Then half a cup, which is going to be 4 ounces,
120.
which is 120 ml. And your result is always going to be in ml. Okay? Right after this, I'm going to give you a quick test to see whether you understand the conversion. Okay? Additions, well, it's easy to add. There's rarely ever addition questions in the GNA exam. Multiplication, division. You can use your phone while at work if there's anything that I can't recall any kind of scenario that requires multiplication or things like that. But subtraction, though, you will have, for example, you're weighing a resident who cannot stand. You have to weigh them in a wheelchair. They have this big scale that you can push the wheelchair on the scale and check the weight. But after that, you have to put the resident in bed and weigh the wheelchair and subtract the weight of the wheelchair from the other weights that was resident plus wheelchair, say equals 180. Then wheelchair weight is 30. Then subtract the 30 from 180, the resident weight is 150. That you're gonna have to do, which is not hard. Okay? Measuring and recording intake and output, we're gonna have an example. Force fluid, I don't know why they use the word force, because you're not forcing, you're encouraging. But force fluid means that we should encourage the residents to drink more. Okay? And we said the other day that we need 8 cups of water minimum per day, which is 8 ounces. And 8 ounces 1 cup. So we need 8 of those, which equals 64 in a day. It's dehydration, they're not drinking enough, they're having trouble swallowing, it's taking liquid, or taking liquid is not available, they have dry mouths, decreased urinary output. These are all signs of dehydration. And again, to avoid the dehydration, I told you the other day, I used to have, water time where I give all of them water, whether they want it or not. I just leave it on their table. Before you know it, they'll drink it. When you're going to their rooms, each time you go to their room, offer them water, whether they ask for it or not. They're not, rarely they're gonna tell you they're thirsty, because that sense of thirst is less or is gone. But the body needs water, we know that. So as you pass by, give them a sip. They won't drink that much at one time, but the more you offer to them, they might get to drink enough. Okay, so all of that talking about signs of dehydration that we've covered already. Sometimes when you want to ask a resident a question to see if they want to eat something or drink something, you ask them in such a way that you don't give them a choice to say no. So for example, if you wanted to give them something to drink, you would say, Miss Susie, would you like some water or would you like some juice? Instead of saying, Miss Susie, would you like to drink something? If you say, Miss Susie, would you like to drink something, they will say no. But if you say, would you like to drink water or juice? You have given them no choice to say no. They're either going to drink juice or drink water. That's the only option in the question. So ask the question in such a way that they will still drink something or they will still eat something. Okay? Like, they say, I'm not thirsty. Well, I didn't ask you if you're thirsty. I asked you if you want water or juice. So you're going to drink water or you're going to drink juice. Okay? But be more pleasant with them. One of the things with residents, they're like, some of them are like children. Once they like you, you're familiar with them, they will not say no. You offer them something, they will take it. They know they need it anyway. So, but sometimes they'll eat because you're the one offering. Somebody else they don't like offer it, they won't take it. Okay. So we have to prevent dehydration. We have to prevent them from being malnourished. Poor acronym for a way to encourage them to drink more water. The P's: post a regular schedule where you offer them water regularly, or observe residents carefully for signs of dehydration. You use other kinds of fluid. It doesn't have to be water. It could be orange juice, cranberry juice, any kind of juice that they prefer. Remind other staff to offer them water as well. Report changes of signs of dehydration to the charge nurse. Always serve fresh water. We always have to have a jug of water in their room and cup, and that has to be labeled the dates of that day to show that the water was fresh that day. If inspectors come and the date on that water jug is yesterday, then they're gonna say, oh, the water has expired. So we have to change the water every day, clean the container, put today's date on it. Okay, fluid overload, sometimes they take too much fluid, or they have a condition that causes them to retain more fluid, in which case the doctor there will be a fluid restriction, we talked about that earlier, or they will be on Lasix, some kind of pills that makes them decrease the water in their body. Signs of fluid overload, they have too much weight, they have fatigue, difficulty breathing, things like that, coughing, decreased urine output, increase all of that, swollen abdomen. This was a long chapter.